for joining us. So yeah, in Nepal we are doing this together with Ashish Mahaju, Sarat Raya, Sumit Bajracharya, Samreen Malla, and myself, Pradeep. So we came together to bring this event for you. So hopefully you will enjoy.
Turn on my video with the background that I just took. So if you guys haven't heard, I live in Texas, Austin, Texas, and we are in winter storm. Basically, we're not used to this. We don't have power for about, this is the third, fourth day almost running. No, I mean power, yes, no water. Sorry. First day of the storm, Monday, we didn't have power for 24 hours. And then Tuesday evening, we lost water, and we're just surviving on this. So that's my story. Okay. All right. So with that, I am going to share my screen, if I may, and then we'll go from there. All right. You guys can share my screen, right? See my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. All right. So Uday Adhikari, obviously I'm from Nepal as well. Very lucky, fortunate to have given me this opportunity to present here. I'm very, very excited. I think I'm more excited than you guys are. Seriously, I've been wanting to do this. So this opportunity came up. I was like, yes, doing it. So I'm very, very glad and happy to be presenting here. Welcome to everyone. Power community. Thank you for all the organizers here. Nepal Crowd Professionals, Signatech, Leapfrog, and Dogma Group. Thank you for supporting the event. Without you, I mean, obviously you guys and all of the organizers, because without that, I mean, it's there's so much that goes behind, right? Curating events, promoting all of those, finding speakers. So there's a lot of work. So kudos to you guys for kind of making arranging all of those. This is about me. So I live in Austin, Texas. I'm a power platform practice lead at Cyclotron Group. I'm very passionate about power platform. You'll see me often they're replying to questions or getting involved in multiple effort in different levels, and then also lead local power platform group here in Austin. And then the background is SharePoint for many years. Before that, app dev, SharePoint, and now Power Platform. So I've been involved in Power Platform, I would say, maybe a little over 3 years ago or so. But yeah, came from SharePoint background. Again, thank you to every one of you here, all of the attendees for attending, taking time. I know this is Saturday for you guys, so taking time of your day and just trying to come here and learn, increase the awareness, right? Basically, all the sponsors and all of the organizers. I wanted to do that first. So today's session, I'm going to talk about what Power Platform, right? This is fairly new. Um, uh, People may say, "Oh, this is fairly new, so this is not a mature product." No, we don't want to use now. That's true and not true. Name may be new, but the product itself has been sort of like in some fashion. It's been in Dynamics 365, CRM, Power BI was. They had Microsoft had a reporting functionality before that. So Power BI in here is more of a reporting, slicing, presentation of data, right? Slicing, dicing, um, uh, being able to massage the data and visually see, kind of like see the trend or reporting, more of a reporting tool. Power BI, same thing. Like I said, all of these three were sort of came off, like branched off from Dynamics 365. It was so proven for their many years, and Microsoft basically said, you know what, let's open up that framework, take it out. We're going to build this framework and allow these citizen developers meaning business users and business analysts who are close to the problem, not necessarily IT background. If you have IT background, definitely a plus. But if you don't have IT background, you always work with Excel to figure out, kind of like you're figuring out ways to solve problems using IT. That's what it's focused for, right? Initially, and then can you build enterprise grade application? Absolutely, because the Azure integration, AI builder, cognitive services, RPA, all of those are there. RPA, robotic processing automation, which is basically, I'll talk about that in a little bit here, but Everything is there. So you can start small always, right? Because start small, prove the technology within your company, and then say, all right, you know what, well, let's build. This is a good, supportable, easy to learn. Within the company, we can support it. We don't have to hire consultants or third-party software company to maintain it. That's why this is very important, all right? For a smaller company or a bigger company, for either of those one, you can always start from small and scale by leveraging different technologies within Microsoft ecosystem. So Power Apps is for your UI form building. You can create, say, intake form or data gather, right? You oftentimes in Nepal, a lot of those NGOs, they require survey tools. The survey tools are forms, nothing but bunch of fields, filling it out, gathering, and putting. This Power App supports offline mode, especially for like developing countries like Nepal. Very, very useful. I work with nonprofit here in US, but they are actually serving in African countries, right? So they need this offline functionality more than around here. If the apps are being used, then you can leverage that with offline functionality. You go to villages, gather data, and then as soon as you have the connection, you can upload. Yeah. So it's pinging and saying, hey, do you have connection? Do I have connection? I'm not saying only is useful developing countries. It can be used here also. One use case was stores, right? Wholesales. Those are under multiple layers. Sometimes they don't have proper connections, and they can do the inventory without having to have a good internet. That's kind of like rare, but that functionality is there. So this is easily, you can create apps there. You can create one code base, and it can be rendered on browser. It can be rendered on your mobile phone and your tablet. So depending upon whatever device you access it from, you develop once, but it renders on multiple devices. So that's another benefit of Power Platform. Obviously, this is all cloud, right? There's no tools that you need to install. Initial version, first version, there was a Power Apps Studio, but now everything is in the cloud. You don't have that option. Does it support application lifecycle management, meaning dev, QA, prod? Absolutely. Power Platform as a whole has environment concept, which is nothing but a container, like a bucket, right? And you add things in here and say, okay, this is our dev, this is our QA, this is our prod, and you can move those. Uh, Either you automate using Azure DevOps. I know I'm using a lot of technical jargons. Apologies, but I'm just trying to kind of like give you a big picture of small to large, and this technology fits everywhere. But obviously, the sex session will be recorded. Do your homework afterwards. I apologize, but just trying to give you a big pictures of why Power Platform, right? Why now? And then you come over to Power Automate. So Power Automate is a cloud-based workflow engine where you can say on an item creation, right? Record creation, or when it's Monday at 9 a.m., I want to send an email to all of the employees about some announcements, schedule. Basically, that's what it is. Or you can say, do you know what? I have Power Apps. Within Power Apps, I'm doing something, and based on that logic, I want to call that workflow. So that SLA, approvals, right? All of those are built in. Mobile, again, it also has mobile functionality where you can have these buttons. There's a concept called buttons, and within that buttons, you can have different actions. Then comes Power Virtual Agent. So by itself, Power Virtual Agent is still powerful, because this is the Power Virtual Agent is, again, it also came from Dynamics 365, right? Virtual Agent was what it was called, and now when they put it in Power Platform, they just added power, 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 power. All of these have power, power, power. So I guess Power Platform is powerful. So Power Virtual Agent is nothing but a bot bot development tool. I guess you can call it a software, where you can say, I'm going to map for certain keywords. When someone asks for that keywords, I'm going to answer, right, automatically, instead of you having to call help desk and say, hey, where is my HR benefit document or link? You can just automate that, saying HR benefit. Someone types in HR benefit or employee benefit, it brings up that it will answer you if it's already been configured. Or you can say help desk number. For new employees, those are very, very critical information. So oftentimes, a lot of the project that I do, we on the Power Virtual Agent is reducing the number of support calls, health service desk, help desk calls. Sometimes they come with us saying, hey, we need to reduce 30 to 40% of the calls to help desk. What can you do? Just by this self, you can do so much. And then any data you have, let's say you may have some data in your SQL Server, right? Line of business applications, SQL Server, Oracle, wherever you have your data, that's not content in Power Virtual Agent. Then you say, do you know what? I want to call Power Automate because Power Automate can connect to SQL Server, Azure, other databases, even Excel if you have your data there, or SharePoint, right? SharePoint list. And combination of these two is much, much powerful than just by itself. So if you want to scale, right? If you want to scale and if you want to create a really robust bot engine, you'd go here. And then another label will be, there's a technology called Q&A Maker, which is part of computer vision. And then also there's a bot composer, bot framework. So this is your starting point, right? As in always, this is, we're empowering end users, business users, giving them these tools to say, okay, start simple. And if that happens to be like mission critical, it'll surface to IT, and then IT will kind of work with business to say, okay, do you know what? We need to re-architect. We need to build a little differently than what is being built right now. So, and then with partnership between the user, they are very close to the problem, and they have already built it, a skeleton, like a prototype, and then with the support of IT or pro dev, you can scale and you can build it up. So that's what it is. And it's the story that Microsoft is telling now, which is true, right? The first story was no code, low code. Now it's not no code, it's low code, and now it's like low code and enterprise, like an app dev integration. Power Platform, that's the story right now. Dataverse is a kind of like a native, tightly integrated with Power Platform, more of a database. You can think that as a SQL Server, Oracle Server, but underneath it, it's not just this database. It's very, very powerful. It has forms that you can build on it, views you can build on it, application you can build on it. It's a variety of layers. It's there. But for this call, I'm going to explain this as database, because I know given the time that I have to cover everything, I'm already just on first slide, and I need to probably rush here. So Dataverse is nothing but your, let's say for this call, just an underlying database that all of these applications can store data and connect and move forward. Connectors is super powerful for Power Platform. Power Platform is good, robust, just because of the connector that the ecosystem has. As of today, there are 451, 461 connectors. And if you had asked me 2 years ago, 150, 200, somewhere around there. Just within year and a half, the number of connectors has doubled, right? So which means the integration, right? Connectors, what does that mean? Why is it important? It means that this Power Platform can connect to Oracle, SAP, Workday, I mean, I'm just naming few out of those 455, 56 connectors, but you name it, you can connect to ServiceNow. It's already built-in connectors are there, so you don't have to build a connector. You don't have to build code. You don't have to write a code to say, okay, give me some data, export it, let's say, for the sake of it, and then you kind of push it to import into another system. It already builds a trust connection between Power Platform and that data source, so your application development cycle is faster. And that's why this is not only a prototype tool, it can be built. Power Platform is a super, I mean, obviously robust application. I've been building left and right enterprise application, and I have few team of people that kind of I work with, and then all of this, they come in with different skill sets. All right, question. Okay, shout out if you have any questions. So AI Builder, I believe there is one session on AI Builder today, but I am not sure. I know there is one for Dataverse, model-driven app. Someone is covering that, so she's gonna explain a little more on Power Automate also right after me. I think there is one session. And AI Builder is also citizen developer type of tool, extracting information from paper, automating, right? So if you have a document, a business card reader, there was a session, someone forgot her name, but she did last time a couple of months ago. But yeah, overall, these are, and few things are not added in here. Mixed reality, geospatial, which is the mapping. I'll show you there with an example here quickly. All right, I'm going to move on to the next slide. I might actually, I think I covered this because in a previous slide, but if you can think about it, 61% of the project funded by line of business, and then influenced by 81 by, again, line of business, right? So line of business is the key. So why can't we empower them to build the solution? Because they don't understand the problem. Let them start, let them create the problem, let them provide this tool, and then work with IT to have a better kind of like scalable solution they can work on it. So IT focuses on critical piece, and whereas it's line of business application is kind of driven by line business unit, meaning HR department, marketing department, maybe not marketing department, but it's a partnership basically. Someone from business, IT, and also infrastructure. You want it like it's called fusion team. You can have that too if your organization is large. So who is it for? It is citizen developers. Like I said, those citizen developers are nothing but they are closer to the problem. Business analysts, business user type, but heavy technology savvy. They're kind of finding their ways within Excel to figure out a solution, or Access to figure out a solution, or even SharePoint to figure out a solution by views and this and that. And that's what this is for. Those are more of a single user, double user, like maybe multi-user application, but this is definitely uh, multi-user with security in mind, everything. So this is definitely the best route. IT developers, absolutely, like I said, and the pro developers, Azure Functions, Azure Logic Apps, all of those are supported. Like I said, 450 plus connectors. That's why Power Platform is super powerful. I would use this if you want to know what connectors are available there. This guy, Nicholas Kirkman, he built a really nice Power, Power BI reports. And I'm going to paste that URL right here. Go there and you can see he basically refreshes every 8 hours. So it's very accurate. I go there, I don't know, multiple times a week just to see if any connectors been added, or I want to know anything about connectors, I go there. Not all connectors are free. In Office 365, you get Office 365, meaning your cloud account, you get the basic connectors. And then if you need premium connectors like the ServiceNow, Oracle, even like SQL Server database, on-prem file server, or on-prem database, they're all premium. So you have to go the premium license. All right. Okay, I have 17 minutes, I think. All right. Like I said, this is not only for citizen developers, right? This is also for pro developers. Let's look at the integration here. Power Apps sits on top, and all of these API management at the Azure label, and then other Azure services for data storage. This is going to be super key going forward when you are developing apps in teams. There's a new feature called Dataverse for Teams. You can build apps within teams, and this is the number one thing that you need to learn. You need to know how to do in order to minimize number of having to buy licenses. This will significantly reduce your licensing costs. So that's the architecture that I've been recommending all of my customers, right? We do anywhere from citizen developer program to application building. So constantly we do, now more and more people are going towards teams because they don't want to just chat there. They want to work also, not only collaboration, but productivity apps. Like they don't want to go outside of the of Teams window, and Microsoft actually doesn't want you to go as well, because that basically means Azure consumption is going up. But it benefits everybody. It benefits Microsoft. It benefits a customer because they don't have to buy a lot of premium connectors. this Azure API management is super useful. All of these are, I mean, yeah, powerful, right? I'm using one cognitive services for one of my projects where I read all of the PDF, and then because they don't have the same format, it just comes different, and they were processing thousands of like almost 12 to 15,000 documents per year, and 1.5 person was sorting out, finding keywords. So we created a Power Automate flow using cognitive services. It will go scan the files, and then we'll have a table where it will say, okay, if it finds this metadata, this is this category. If it finds this metadata, here's another category, tag with this. So it's pretty straightforward once you start doing it, but getting it to that point was a tricky. I am doing a session on that on Power Apps community call next month, although I only get 15 minutes, but I will be demoing that that solution. So that will be recorded. If you, I mean, the timing wise doesn't work, you guys can go watch the recording. Okay, any questions so far what we talked? Okay, I thought I was gonna talk in Nepali for most of the time, but I don't know why I am not. With respect to other people who may not understand Nepali, I will continue in English. All right, so Power Apps, like I said earlier, right? Real quickly, up. And I will take 2 minutes, and then I'll start demoing a couple of apps that I built. This is what you see is what you get. Similar to in web technology, HTML is what you see. WYSIWYG, right? That's what it calls. What you see is what you get. What you were designing in your design mode, that's what when you render, that's what you get. All of those are like seamless. You can share pretty easily, like you're sharing a document. You click on it, you have a share button, you share. You can assign people a co-owner. Yeah, extensibility, data connectivity. So I know I talked about that earlier. These are some Power Automate terminology. Power Automate used to be called Microsoft Flow, and some, if you're kind of like fairly new, even people are calling Microsoft Flow, then that's why, because it used to be called Microsoft Flow. So, but you are still creating flow in Power Automate, and then Flow is now called Cloud Flow. So I know Microsoft always changes names. Just a couple of months ago, they changed the name. And then Desktop Flow is your RPA, robotic process automation, which is basically means nothing but if you do not have a connector and don't have an API, then it's a manual process. Someone is looking at the screen and then just saying, okay, copy, paste, right, from one system to another, maybe from an email to another system, and there's no connector to connect to, or email you can, but let's say some Win32 application, right, Windows application, legacy that was created a long time ago. Maybe Mercantile created that software a long time ago. I know I used to work at Mercantile a long time ago, but maybe we had created an application using Windows 32, and it's a legacy app. They have not converted the Pumori soft and all those. I don't even know if those exist now, but the banking software. But that, if you don't have the connector, don't have the API, then you are basically kind of screen scraping, right? So that's exactly what it is. Whatever you're doing, it will record. It will record 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever step, and then you replay. Replaying is by when an account is created, replay that script. When or you can schedule at certain time. Then you replay those recorded steps. And so you record it and you play on demand based on some action, some trigger. So that's what it is, Desktop Flow. Not only for a desktop, this is also valid for legacy website. You may have legacy website where you don't have, maybe even you don't have, let's say you don't have permission to get, like some of my clients, they want to do, insurance companies, basically financial companies, they want to automate, but the paying our API connector is super expensive. So they go with just log in, get some data, and then import into their system. Team flows is someone that's been shared with me, and business process flow is, I believe there's a session on this, so I am going to skip that. Okay, so again, real quick, this is flow. This is how it looks, right? Kind of like a flow chart. The first thing is called connection. and then the other things, trigger first and then action. Each of the connection, like say get, you connect to Exchange, and under Exchange you will have get email, get attachment, send email. All of those are actions, but you establish a connection. That's how it goes. All right, I'm gonna skip here. I know I am, and this is Power Virtual Agent, which is the bot engine. I will show this in a little bit. I am going to skip, but again, unmute yourself, ask question in the teams. Please make it more interactive. That way you're not bored and your questions are being answered. Okay, gateway. What is gateway? Gateway basically allows you to connect to your on-prem data. So you have, this is all cloud, right? This is all cloud, but like for RPA, because RPA, it's going to talk to on-prem application, you need a gateway for RPA, which is the desktop flow. It will require RPA. And then the gateway can come in they come in two flavor. One is personal, which is for you can download and you can start testing. And then the other one is for like say enterprise app that's in the cloud, and you can cluster, you can put it on a multiple gateway so that if you have, let's say 1,000 requests coming in, that can handle, you can, the fallback plan, throttling plan, all of those, you can prioritize which process gets what priority. You can define that. You can also see what's coming in the in RPA world, right? When someone is happening, that you can see what's coming in the queue, and you can manage that queue based on you can manage on the prior to submitting by creating what type of priority, and then also after it's been submitted, you see in the queue, and you can kind of adjust the priority based on if you need to run something sooner, you can do that. Super powerful for integration with your on-prem data. Definitely a little bit involved than just a citizen developer, but it's still nothing big. Okay, so this is another one-page slider for Dataverse for Teams. So I apologize again. I know I'm kind of going from very beginning to building it up. Given the time, I'm not doing it justice for the topic and to you guys, but this is what I got. So apologies if it's kind of like luckily this is being recorded, so you can go back and refer to it, and then also do research on your own to find more information about it. So Dataverse for Teams is, if you have Teams, this is free. This is already available for you. You can create, there are 4 sample apps now. Underneath it has a true relational database management system called Dataverse for Teams is there. It has a limitation of a certain limitation. That's why it's free, right? So I can make this, actually Elliot Perry from Microsoft. He's the one who kind of created this slide, and he's sharing this to everyone. I can definitely make it available, this slide as well. It talks about like security type. There are a few things being added in the security now. There's a colleague principle. It just added a couple of weeks ago. This hasn't been refreshed, but other than that, the apps are there. These are I thought there was 4 apps, but it looks like there are 1 more added recently. So there are 5. It used to be just inspection app and issue reporting app was there. There were other 3 was recently added, but as you can see, it has table connectors and all of those. So okay, I'm apologize again. So let me go demo, and then we'll go from there. So what do I demo first is I'm going to bring this in. If you haven't seen Power Apps before, meaning the portal, right? So sorry, I have multiple, and again, okay, this is important. Why? So if you look at all of these people, all of these were non-developers. Their career, they were not by any means app dev. They didn't have any background. Him, actually, he was, for 10-15 years, he was more of a security officer at Heathrow Airport. And then he got tired of flipping the papers, manuals, and said, you know what, is there something that I can automate? And he kind of stumbled upon Power Apps 3 years ago, I think. And then he basically said, I am going to automate these thousands of pages, and he did it. And now and then Power Apps Champion is they're the story that the Microsoft kind of publishes. There are a whole bunch of champs are there now, but these are early ones. Him, I don't know, I haven't met him, but it seems like I talk about him all the time. But we do follow on Twitter. But I feel like I know him pretty well by talking. I talk about him all the time. So very good story. Now he's an MVP. He has a career on application development, Power Platform, evangelist, everything. Very. I mean, in the community, he's super humble guy, and also everybody kind of I like him. And then this is another guy, Keith, super nice guy as well. His background was app dev, but what he was doing was, I think he was a bus driver or something, and then he kind of picked it up, the technology, and moved forward. They all have good stories. I will put this link in here. Feel free to read, and definitely this will encourage you to, like, hey, if they can do it, this is for us. I can do it, right? Meaning not trying to compare anyone, but all I'm saying is the base is very, very low. Start from creating a simple app and then move from there. With that, I am going to jump onto, let's say, this app, right? This is an incident reporting app. All it's using is this went GA just a few weeks ago. This is a map component called geospatial. And then in here, I can say, I can kind of, based on the map, I can pass in addresses, and then I can pin, I can do different sort of things. This is obviously, I'm in Austin, so I grabbed some of the local stores here. I already loaded those, their longitude and latitude into a table, and then I passed that as a collection, right? From that table, I read, and I'm passing it here. And then, and then obviously the UI, this is not my UI, sorry, my team, we have a designer, and I basically gave him, hey, this is a map, this is this, go ahead and beautify this, and he came up with this UI. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Mine was pretty straightforward. So he definitely kind of jumped in and created the UI. When you click on it, it takes you to the next page, and then some of the UI. Let me see if it's here. Okay, I don't have that up, but this will display as a card rather than a list. And then you can also go to list view. See, just by doing that, you're already kind of improving user experience. And literally, this literally doesn't take that long. So start simple. I can, if I were to create, I would go, let's say, new app, Canvas app, and then you can start with your existing data, right? Or start blank. If you're learning, start with existing data. So it gives you 3 screens already. So let's say I am here. Let me see which one I can. Power Apps demo. Let me see what content reusable. I don't even know if I have right content, but I'm going to content and structure. So let's see if this works here. While this is doing, I'm going to go on to the next app, which is highly branded. Okay, where did he go? All right, let me take this over here, and I'm going to play the app for you. And user, where is the app? Virtual user access request. Okay, I don't know what happened there earlier, but here you go. So this is another app where it's managing when it comes up. And I would love to come back if there's interest and take a deep dive into each of these, some best practices. Where do you start? When do you create a component, right? All of those. I would definitely love to do this around this time, although it's almost midnight here. I don't mind. I usually am up anyways. So I'll work with Pradeep and Sumit and see if they want me to bring in for in the future. I can definitely speak more about it. Like I said, I'm very passionate, so I wouldn't mind coming back and talking about it. So here, this one basically. What was that, Pradeep?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but yeah, definitely we would like to have you in future as well. Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, always. Like I said, hopefully that time I can I can speak in Nepali more. All right, so this one, like I said, this is highly branded Canvas app, right? They're in Power Apps. You can create Canvas app, model-driven app, and then the third one, we don't call it app, but it's a portal. So model-driven app is only against Dataverse, whereas Canvas app is any data source. It honors any data source. Basically, what you're creating here is you're creating the UI first, and then you kind of go and connect to your data sources. So you can connect Canvas app to Dataverse, but model-driven app, you cannot connect to SharePoint. You have to connect to Dataverse, which is Common Data Service. It used to be called Common Data Service. Okay, so one more minute and then I will wrap. I am promised. I think I have like almost, my time is over, right? Just stop me when I need to stop.
Yeah.
Okay, and then other thing, this is super important, is Microsoft Dataverse for Teams. And if you have access to Office 365, definitely go ahead and create this sample apps, or this is where Microsoft is heavily pushing everyone. That super, and I mean, a lot of investment here. And I'm not saying stay out of Canvas app. It has its own home, right? Certain time in certain times you would have to create a Canvas app. That's where it should be. But if you're learn from Canvas app, model-driven app, then you can go over to this one, Dataverse for Teams. But definitely make this part of your journey. This is going to be very, very critical going forward. And this one, yeah, Pradeep, just give me like a 1 minute heads up when I need to stop, okay? All right. So yeah, this app was just a sample app I created from here. If I were to do inspection, let me see if it's already configured. I'll be slow while this is loading. I am going to go to Power Virtual Agent within Teams, right? This is another team, the bot that I mentioned earlier. I can create Power Virtual Agent bot from within Teams, or I can create outside. This one, the one that I had created earlier. So this is a knowledge-based bot where I'm going to ask something and it's going to give me an answer. As you can see, topic, and then I will show you how this runs, and then maybe I can wrap it up. All right. When you're creating Power Virtual Agent, you have to have some triggers. Without trigger, the bot, I mean, yes, you can have auto greeting. There are a couple of options there. You can do that, but usually you type in something and you'll say, oh, how can I help you? And that's what it is. So if I were to type in here Office 365, right? It's going in here, it found the trigger and said, oh, I found it. So let me go run, see the check marker, it ran it, and then it's saying, hey, welcome Uday Adhikari to Office 365 Knowledge Bot. That's exactly what I created. This user identity, because I'm already running in the context of Teams, I can do that. If I were to create this Power Virtual Agent outside of Microsoft Teams, they wouldn't know the user context. So you have to do a few other configuration. It's a little kind of tricky, but you can still do it. And then in here, it's asking me exactly, it's showing me SharePoint Online, Teams. So as I'm developing, I can see what's happening. This is just the development mode, right? This is not the production mode. And you can deploy this into Teams as a bot, or also you can deploy into a site also, like a website. So if I say Microsoft Teams, and it's going to go and see, oh, Microsoft Teams has, oh, you want to know about how to record a meeting? I mean, create a new meeting, record a new meeting. What do you want to know? So I can say, if I say record a meeting, it's going to go to that section, right? That branch, and says, oh, actually, obviously this is just a demo, so I was just I just ended it, and then it's asking me end with survey. That's why it's asking me about survey. After all of those are done, you can go back and see the stats and see how people are interacting with the bot. And if you see a lot of drops, then you know that it needs to be improved. So this helps you with your improvement of the bot. It has all of the stats in here. You can say, oh, people are going in and just kind of stopping at the top level, that you know immediately that, oh, do you know what, we need to make some changes. Why, right? So this is also a tool for you to improve your bot. But overall, that's how it works. I know I didn't show you Power Automate, but there is a session right after me. So with that, I will like to say thank you to everyone for joining, and also for all of the sponsors and all of the organizers and all the speakers. Thank you for the opportunity. Like I said, I was super excited. I was afraid that the power, the electricity was going to go away, but luckily it didn't, and I'm here and I enjoyed it. I appreciate everyone kind of attending. Before I go, any questions for me? Man, you guys are quiet. At least one, maybe. Unmute yourself and just ask any question. Okay, कसैले नसोध्ने त्यो त भएन ल. Okay, at least एकजना. All right. Okay, that's fair. Pradeep, I think my time is over, right?
Yes, kind
Okay.
of over नै भइसक्यो हैन.
Over. Okay, sorry, apologies.
No,
right.
that's fine. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. I mean, in fact, we are waiting for the next speaker. Sumit, are you aware?
He's here.
I
am here. Yeah, he's here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. I'm gonna.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks a lot, Uday, for your session. I mean, this is the second time I'm into your session, and it's very exciting to hear you. A lot of skills, a lot of knowledge about the Power Platform. You are a practice lead, of course, so definitely there's a lot to learn for our community, and hopefully we'd have to have more sessions coming in from you in Nepal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and thank you so much. Thank you so much, Uday.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, with this, let's move forward with our next session. So Ted, if you are there.
I am, yeah.
Oh, okay.